The PlayStation Classic could have easily knocked it out of the park. No additional pylons should have been necessary. So why didn't it? Let's just get into it right now. The PlayStation Classic was announced to the world September 19th, 2018, and slated to release December 3rd, 2018. The announcement of the PlayStation Classic was met with a rounding sound-offs of OMG, yes please, I can't wait for this to happen, all throughout the gaming community. Gamers worldwide couldn't wait to get their hands on one of these emulation machines from Sony, the creators of the original PlayStation. So what happened? As time passed and more information released on the Classic system, and then reviews started to pour in, why did the PlayStation Classic go from OMG to, well, it can't be all that bad, to, yeah, I think I'm going to pass, or maybe buy it purely for its novelty factor? Well, to be honest, a lot of things. The question is where to start. So let's just take a look at what all happened, shall we? First, the PlayStation Classic was announced with 5 games, all being pretty good picks for the system that had hundreds of hit titles to its name. Final Fantasy VII, Jump, Flash, which I still don't know what it is, Ridge Racer Type 4, Tekken 3, and Wild Arms. Titles were excellent choices for the system, being FF7 is one of my favorite RPGs. It had me sold already, especially if most of the other games were also just as good. Of course, the gaming community started to list some of their favorite titles for the PSX age in hopes that they would be put onto the system. However, just from the announcement, there was already at least one red flag. No DualShock controllers. Yeah, it seems like a small thing, but the PSX had DualShock controllers back in the day. Back in 1999, Ape Escape, one of the games that should have been on the system, became one of the first games to explicitly require DualShock or dual analog type controllers, with gameplay requiring the use of both analog sticks. That was the first red flag that the Classic system may not be what we were really hoping for. The next trouble the system had was the games. Pure and honest, the PSX Classic had a lot of potential. It squandered it in its game selection. We get only 20 games to pick from, but come on Sony, really? Mr. Driller and Super Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo? I know there are some fans out there, but really? That was the best you could find? Anyway, the list has left many wondering why so many games to pick from, and those are what you chose. And worst of all, you can find a list of 30 plus other games that apparently was tested on the system, and they forgot to remove their files from the code, or at least their titles from the code. And that list is way better. From Mega Man Legends to Tomb Raider 1 and 2, those were better games to choose from. And we are talking about a retro console where games back then barely scratched 1 gig, with a few exceptions. So if anyone wants to argue space, then please don't. Getting a 16 gig card for about $13 from Walmart isn't hard, and when you talk about buying memory in bulk, and for a company, it's even cheaper. So not having enough space or saying it costs too much is just BS in this day and age. The worst part is, when it comes to games, it's the 9 out of the 20 games are running the PAL version of the game. The PAL version of the game, explained without all the tech jargon, is that the game will look about 20% better, but run 20% slower. In other words, you will have a slight lag from input to other things that you might not catch at first till you're playing a game like Tekken 3, where you expect your punch to punch the second you hit the key, not 1 second later. The other thing, no power cord. Look, I don't care how much extra phone chargers you may have lying around, but no power cord is a big deal still. I hate that Nintendo started this whole thing, and I still will get on to them for it as well. But no power cord is still a hassle, especially if your power cords for your device are not the one that the PSX or other classics take. You pick up the system, you also have to spend another 10 or so to buy a power cord, and that's just a con regardless of what company you are. The price. Yes, the PSX Classic should have knocked a home run and even at $100. But since gamers felt they were getting an inferior product with inferior game ports and a game library that is lacking some of the best titles the system had to offer, $100 was just too much of a price point to try and sell this classic system. As a result, the system is now on sale everywhere for about $60. Still on shelves, still not pushing copies. Or units, for this matter. So, what's the summary of all this? No DualShock controllers, no power cords, a lacking and inferior list of games all led to the classic console that everyone wanted and then nobody really wanted, and that's just a shame. Just a few simple little things could have turned this into one of the best-selling pieces of hardware to hit the market in recent years, but instead it felt like Sony just wanted to rush it through to hit the holiday market sales, and as a result missed a ton of sales that could have came from the system. All they had to really do was work on their own emulator for the system, make a better layout, put the superior version of listed and excellent games onto the hardware. Oh, and add some DualShock controllers to it. Yeah, it would take a little longer to get out to the public, but I bet they would have bought them out as a result, like the NES Classic when it first hit shelf. So, what did you think? Did you enjoy the PlayStation Classic? Do you like it, or did you pass? It's things I'd like to know down in the comments below. Till then, I will talk to you later. See ya.
Hey, thanks for watching. Don't forget to leave a comment, smash that like button, and always subscribe for more. And of course there are other videos floating around somewhere on the screen, so click one of those and see if you can find something that suits your fancy. Till then, I'll see you later. Bye.